You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, we have our friend Chase Iron Eyes on. He has a distinguished career fighting for the civil rights of Natives, including serving as director of the Lakota People's Law Project, co-founding the Native news website, Last Real Indians, and as a Standing Rock activist and work within the Native Lives Matter movement. Chase, thank you so much for stopping in and checking in with our crew out here. It's great to see you.
It's my honor to be on, Robert.
Yeah, well, you're in the Twin Cities now. What have you seen, and what is your vibe about what's happening here in the Twin Cities?
We're in unprecedented territory. Those of us in the Native community and those of us who are conscious Americans, conscious patriots, those of us who are paying attention, we see the various iterations and the exercise of brutal corporate or state-sponsored violence. And my heart is with the people of Minneapolis, St. Paul. I was on the Pine Ridge Reservation and on the Standing Rock Reservation when our good sister lost her life. That's Renee Good. Lost her life to what many Americans and legal professionals feel is unlawful use of deadly force. And you've seen all the videos. I think there's enough out there that an objective and rational potential jury could, we can all form our own opinion. But from what I was able to review, there's not a doubt in my mind that a potential jury or a potential prosecutor in and around the state of Minnesota, the city of Minneapolis, could bring charges against the shooter. And what was extremely triggering for me after that illegal execution of Renee Good was the Red Lake woman, the woman from the Red Lake Nation who is driving with her 20-year-old nephew. I believe his name is Roberto Beto Rodriguez. I don't remember the name of the woman, but to see the terror in Native people's faces, to see that woman pleading with anybody who was listening for assistance, for humanitarian aid, for help. She was flabbergasted and couldn't understand why armed, masked, jackbooted personnel is attacking her nephew. She's doing her best to comply. She's doing everything that you can do in those situations. She's doing it in a way that is non-threatening, and it's not returning the aggression. But as we can see, ICE is not interested in rooting out criminals or rooting out the less desirables or any other labels that the administration has. You can see clearly now that they are interested in targeting, illegally profiling non-white people. We have a duty, Native people, all of the personnel that's over at Powwow Grounds right now. Everybody from the Indigenous Protector Movement, all of the multitude of organizations and people, human beings, brothers and sisters who are showing up and asserting their right to dignity and peace. We're connecting with everybody else in Minneapolis, St. Paul, because it's clear that they're blurring the lines between what is law and order. We as human beings, as American citizens, as tribal nations, as tribal nationals, we deserve peace and dignity. We deserve to be able to send our kids to school without fear that they're going to be abducted. We all deserve that right to peace, but it's becoming more and more clear that we're going to have to stand up. And it's against seemingly insurmountable odds. There's multiple instances of tribal members being apprehended, tribal members being snatched from the streets for advocating for a safe interaction. What happens when ICE is breaking the law? What happens if ICE shows up at your home? We need unity. There are forces that are trying to exploit our fears, our insecurities, our prejudices. It's a spiritual battle. It's spiritual warfare. And so part of what is happening with the brilliant and diabolical deployment of violence, subjecting women and children and families to corporate sponsored state violence, and also attacking psychologically. We can see that indigenous nations and the spiritual dignity that we live with, that is extremely important to saving the United States of America. They killed a woman. They killed an innocent woman in broad daylight so that they could send a message. You imagine how terrifying that is for a family with children inside? That is a dangerous situation. Again, they're going to try to goad us into violence, returning the same aggression and violence that's being instigated against us. I truly feel and I believe that they're trying to create civil disorder. And if ICE is here, they're going to try to stay here until they create civil disorder. It takes all of the grace, all of the patience, all of your spiritual constitution not to lash out. When those who are charged with enforcing the law are acting outside the scope of that law, that's when conscious Americans have to avail themselves of all knowledge of their rights, because it's not normal. We're not playing in the same field that we expect to be playing in. Hey, the free world could be relying on you. Right. Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, they are relying on you to show up. And we are showing up. But at the same time, Governor Walz, our political leadership, needs to take full assessment of the severity and the gravity of the situation that they're in and use all measures. Minneapolis will back you up. Minnesota will back you up. ICE is bad for business. We need to continue to humanize each other and rely on each other. Now, if you read books about the Holocaust and books about fascism in Nazi Germany, the attitudes are the same. The level of force, never again. We will never let something like that again happen. We deserve to send our kids to school and expect that they're going to come back without having to face armed agents of terror and be traumatized for life.
So I just want to say you've been in this fight for a long time, and thank you so much for being on.